Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of events happening. Now, Izuku, he's been through quite a lot of changes in a short amount of time. He, after taking out 5 dragons in his meeting with many of them, got a lot of information. Now, he then selected a level 15 draconic ability. Afterwards, he went to go meet up with Bakugo to talk about a few things in Amsera's library. The two spent 2 weeks trying to try and find anything about Nero. And eventually, whenever Deku opened a book and looked at the glyphs, he was transported into the astral realm. Now, Bakugo and Deku were both transported there. However, Bakugo went to go find Ochako to figure out more about the situation. And Izuku, he was trying to focus on exactly what the hell's going on here. This place is strange, beautiful, familiar, and just hard to perceive. It's odd. Whenever Bakugo and Ochako finally found Izuku, they managed to locate exactly what they were looking for. They ended up finding a demiplane Nero created. They opened the door and went into a forest. Lush, beautiful, and expansive. And Nero, his skull was sitting on an altar. And whenever it finally realized it wasn't hallucinating, imagining things, or just straight up losing it, he was happy to finally have visitors after so long. This echo of himself put himself here knowing they would find him. He had a plan for this, and he even revealed to them one thing he had hidden a long time ago, when him and his allies found it looking through the multiverse. Galore's skeleton. It was hidden in the astral realm, not just by planeswalkers, but with illusion magic. Now, everyone, they were quite shocked by this revelation. They found Galore, and their friend, Nero, he had the right idea. Putting this thing in a place no one would remember, no one would be able to find. He even told them about some magical items they might be needing, since he had them pretty well hidden too, inside of a painting in the library. And when they got to that place, it was quite shocking as well. Nero, he wanted to finally go. Let this last remaining echo of himself fade on into the next world. However, he wanted to see what the planes have become in the last 1,000 years. And Izuku, he was willing to fulfill that promise. Now, everyone, they have been quite busy. So far, Deku and the others are still nudging things in the right way in the 9 planes of hell. Deku, he's got one of his doppelgangers posing as a tiefling. And right now, he is trying to place people to cause as much chaos as he can in those realms. The moment people are taken down, they're expecting things to go wrong. The Demon Lord will have to go down there and sort them out. With the added mixture of them knowing Galore is with them, they can plan something. Truly plan something. The Bakugo, his quote-unquote inside man, has yet to give them the go-ahead. And Izuku, he's willing to put his faith in Bakugo. But so far, their timetables are beginning to get a little bit more worrisome. It's been 2 months. 3.5 years. Today is the start of the 6th month. And that it has Deku a little bit more worried. The last 2 months he's spent diligently trying to train Shomo. In the next couple weeks, he hatches of a plan to drop him in the forest and see how well he can survive. He actually is even considering not sticking around. Just like Theodore and Voss. If he can make it in that forest, he'll be ready for truly taking on an adventure. He taught him barrier magic as a way to protect himself. His mother, she is worried about the kid, and so is he. He's strong, smart, and capable. All good aspects. But most notably, he's willing to learn. And even Izuku himself has noticed a bit of stagnation in his own progress. He's been looking through his own skill tree, trying to find abilities and or ways to upgrade his own powers. He's found some, but they're more pricey whenever it does come down to what they do. Some have different drawbacks, and some are even upgrades of pre-existing skills. And right now, he's fairly certain some of them would be beneficial. He needs to talk to Bakugo and Ochako and see exactly what they might have chosen, if they can give him any advice. And that thought, it does go through his head. As right now, he does stand there, watching as Erodos, she does go to hold up her spear and go to stare Deku down. Her trying to think about what exactly to do. And whenever she does come rushing at him, the two do collide. One of them, staying in the courtyard as Shomo himself, is swinging around his own sword, trying to get used to this newfound weapon. He's still trying to figure out what type of blade he might want to use, or if primarily he might be a mage. And as he is going through that, there also is where a version of Deku, the original, does sit there on the ground, still deep in meditation. He's been like this for a few days. After reaching level 10 of his unique skill Spirit, he wanted to dive deeper into what this power can do. And to be honest, he feels stupid. The ability allowed him to sense the presence of shamans. It allowed him to make different items in different creations. But a deeper dive into it has shown him more. But most importantly, there's also his interaction with Galore's presence. Death. A raw form of it so powerful, he felt his divine mana quiver in its presence. And right now, Deku, he does go to let out a small breath, as he does get to stand and turn. Right now, him going to have his doppelganger disappear and bring his hand up. And Erodos, she immediately does her freeze, feeling a chill crawl up her spine as a hand does get a tap her on the shoulder. And this time, she is completely tense up before she does go to turn. Deku informing her, it's alright. And whenever she's going to turn, she does give Deku a bit of a look of fear. Still quite surprised at the sheer presence she felt behind her. And Izuku himself does stare her down. Right now, him raising his hands and telling her, Sorry. He was still experimenting with it. Some of his skills are a bit weird. Her staring him down before she does go to drop the spear and go to lean in close. Right now, Deku going to feel her wrap her arms around him and go to somewhat shake. And this, it does surprise him. Him tensing up a bit before he does go to pat her on the head and try and tell her about how it'll be fine. And she does get to pull away. We're now looking up at his hair that does still have a bit of the white in it from what happened 2 months ago. It's mostly returned back to his blackened color, but streaks of white do still remain. He looks like an older man, more wise and sagely, but he does still have that youthful appearance. And even Deku himself does get the way she's staring at him, gonna somewhat laugh as there is where the clatter of a blade does go to alert them. Someone expressing, "I was telling them before, he's that damn kid's father." And this, it does catch Deku's attention. Him turning to see that some of the royal knights, they are walking up with a man and an adventurer's party. And he does go to talk about it. Right now, Theodore going to look down at the area where this man is walking, setting down his cup of tea and going to climb to his feet. Deku glancing at Theodore as the man does a glance down at that one. And Deku does catch a tiger tail going to move from behind this guy's back. And Shomo, he does gonna bring his hands up expressing, "Father?" This kid's there you are, Shomo. Your mother said you'd be here. Now, exactly why are you in Granala? Father, that's a long story. Your mother told me. Now, the fact is, this was unexpected. We're going home now. But why? Things are better here. That's not the point. This is not our home, Shomo. I had to travel days to get here after hearing you and your mother moved. Now, how do you think I felt about that? You two just packed up and ran off? And your mother's talking about this man, a hero of all people, being your mentor? Deku walking up. And the man does turn glancing at Deku, not giving him a second glance. He's just some dragonkin dude here. He's more curious to talk with the hero. Wanting to know why the hell he's teaching his son some sort of stupid magic. And Deku does walk up to the man standing before him, talking about it, clearing his throat. I will talk with you in a minute. I want to hear what this hero has to say for himself. You're standing in front of the hero. Man turning to look at Deku. And his appearance is not like what he heard the hero of Granala was. Everyone knows the heroes are all human. But this guy is not a human. He's covered in red scales. He's got orange eyes. He's got horns pointing up on the top of his head. Another pair of that do kind of point backwards and lean out like braids, but then he's also got those tattoos covering his entire body. This guy is supposed to be human? And Deku does cross his arms, informing the man. He's a Zuko of Granala. His son Shomo is his student. Why the hell would you be teaching my son anything? I'm the one who's been in charge of his training. From what I heard, you were on an adventure. Yes, I was. It was quite important. I was trying to make sure an area nearby our home was safe. I got caught up and I didn't expect it to take long. Really? Because from what I've heard around that town, you were more busy with something else. What's that now? Right now, someone going to step forwards, informing the man. Okay, Raka, perhaps this isn't a good idea. He isn't thinking clearly? You're right, he isn't. Listen, Raka, I've heard a lot about you, and I'll tell you right now. Your wife won't say it to your face. She doesn't want to see you. Excuse me? Who exactly are you to talk about my married life? She is my wife, and she will respect me. You see, that just told me everything it needed to. Raka, you're not going to stay here. Excuse me? The party going to raise weapons up and tell the hero. Perhaps he doesn't. Deku, bring a hand up. Right now, him forcing the three onto their knees as the man does turn. Him turning back and swinging a blade directly at Deku. And Deku doesn't even bother to dodge. It crashing against his arm as he does get a turn. Right now, watch it trying to dig into his shoulder before he does turn back to the man, raising up a finger and pointing directly at him. As there is where he does go to release his wyvern aura. And the field is a blast the man backwards as he's crashed into the ground. Him rolling closer to his party as Shomo does go to begin stepping forwards. And Deku does inform his student. Perhaps he should take a step backwards. Man climbing to his feet and glaring at his son, baring his fangs and talking about it. They are going home. That is not in the question. This is not over. Right now the man turning around, and Deku does stand directly in front of him. Him staggering backwards, quite surprised. And Deku does inform the man. Right now bringing a hand up and pulling him into the air and dangling him from one hand. As he said before, he's not going anywhere. His son Shomo discovered a form of forbidden magic. Magic that could annihilate the very home he's trying to go back to without being trained. He's gotten better at it, and right now he's going to just tell him exactly what he knows. His wife knows that he is messing with the tavern mistress in that city. In fact, that's the best thing she can say. If he goes back home, she's probably going to beat him senseless. He's heard a few things from her that aren't very pretty. Now, how about this? He doesn't want to beat him senseless in front of his own son, so he just leaves. Deku going to drop them into the ground as he has a pulse from his inventory. A bundle of gold going to crash into a pouch in front of the man. And he does a look down at the coins, his eyes going wide. And right now Deku does turn striding over to Shomo, talking about it. This is an important lesson. It's not going to be a fun one, but he's going to need to learn this. What lesson? Him turning to the man. Ask him a question. If he had to choose between 300 pieces of gold or his own family, what would he choose? And the man does glance back down at the sack, staring at it. His eyes looking at this, and then up towards his party members. And they do go to glare down at that amount of gold greedily. 300 pieces of gold? I mean, they could retire from adventurers. Live lives like low-ranking nobles. Start a business on that and, hell, do a lot. They could live like kings for the next century on that. And the man, he does gotta lower his sword. Right now, him bending down and reaching for the gold. Him gonna begin scooping it back into the pouch and climbing to his feet, turning to Deku to try and say something. Though he does it or freeze, staring at his own son. And Shomo, he does gotta glare at his father angrily, madly, before he does his own scoff and turn away. And Deku does turn to the leader of the Royal Knights, informing them, escort this man from Granala. If he is seen on the premises, no, he is not allowed near the castle, nor is he allowed in the city. In fact, he would like them to put up a poster telling them that. And then as I turn, looking at Deku, and Deku does look back at the man angrily, informing him. He just showed his son exactly the type of man he was. He failed the test. Whatever. Him beginning to leave. And Izuku does turn back to Shomo. Walking over his Theodore, he does gonna jump down from his perch and go to land. The kid going to stare off at that and having trouble with what to say. Before Deku does pat him on the arm and express to him, he's sorry, but he knows it's hard. He needed to teach him that lesson. But I get it. My dad is... I knew he... I didn't want to believe he was like... that. I know. Listen, Shomo. It's alright. It's gonna take some time to get over, okay? But I can tell you one thing. What is that? Deku going to hold up a bracelet, informing him. This is an inventory bracelet. It works like the inventory spell. As long as he wears this, he can store items in it. Now, how does he feel about going on a proper quest? One that isn't some simple hunting mission, nor is it something he can get done within a day. And he does nod his head as Deku does get a turn, talking about it. He can send him with a double right now, but there's a lot going on. Right now that one will help him out. The double turning and informing Shomo that he gets to pick the quest they go on. Deku nodding to the double as the two do go rushing off. Shomo going to move a bit quickly, but the double does send back mentally how Shomo does seem to be feeling. And Izuku does go try and tell it back. To make sure he has a bit of a fun adventure, the kid needs to get rid of some of that aggression. And he even is going to inform him to make sure he keeps up with his barrier and destruction training. And right now the double, it and Shomo do go off. And he does going to turn back to Theodore, expressing, does he think that that was the right thing? Well, I told you before. The kid needs to understand mental hardship. It will help build up his mental fortitude. Right now, he's probably going to try and get rid of some of that aggression. It's not bad, but it's not good either. You didn't kill his father in front of him, so that was good. I know. Unfortunately, but I wasn't trying to scar the damn kid. It would look bad if his mentor kills his dad. Perhaps so. But what of you? Me? I've been fine. I've stagnated. Plateaued. Some of the stuff I've been trying to hunt hasn't been giving me much benefit. I've been learning more about my own powers, but even then, I don't know. I'm nowhere close to my peak, but it's getting harder. And your last level up? Way more than 2 months ago. I've stagnated at 430. 430, yes. because that is the average number of strength for a human. In fact, getting over level 300 is quite rare for our species. But that's a different story. I did have a question. Yes. You didn't speak to me much about, you know. You saw how it was. I did. It has been conflicting. I'm sure it has been, Theodore. Your student wants to kill your former mentor. I'm sure that puts you in quite the conundrum. Druso was once a good man. I will tell you that again and again. What he's become now, I don't know if I can condone. What he did to you, I can't condone that either, Izuku. Letting a mind suffer like that. The horrors you... I shudder to think about them again. I know. Though, I did want to give you an apology gift. Deku raising out his arm. And Renato Theodore does gonna raise his arm to Deku. Talking about it. What exactly would it be? Well, you've seen me regrow my arm. You've seen me regenerate a lot of damage. Not just new wounds, but some of the old ones. Ones that last me quite a bit of time. I healed Pierce of her wounds. She's bona fide 100% human. Though, there's your wounds. His eyes somewhat widening in realization. You wish to give me my wings back. I haven't had them since I was a child. I know. That doesn't mean you can't have them now. Theodore, please. It's my way of apologizing to you. I wasn't thinking straight. You were not. You still want him dead. I understand that. But you think giving me my wings back will make up for that? No. It's an effort. Yes. It is an effort. Izuku. Theodore, you've trained me to be efficient. You've trained me to be strong and not to deal with shit. So I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you an opportunity to get back a part of yourself. Are you going to take it or not? Him going to lower his eyes to the ground. Trying to think about it before he does, go to look back up at Deku and go to turn. Right now him going to pull off the back of his shirt and toss it to the ground. As Deku does raise his hands and begin to focus on his back, looking at those two massive lines that show scars. And he does get a focus on them. And Theodore, he does go stagger backwards as a giant pair of wings do go flying forwards in front of him. Him feeling a sharp tingle as he does go to stagger back. And Deku, he does go to watch as the man does go to turn. Right now him on his feet and looking at them. Before he does go to give them a flap, and he does go to somewhat stretch at his back, trying to talk about it. He doesn't remember that being stressful. Though, that feels odd. Him flapping his wings again. And Deku does go to tell him. He's probably not used to it anymore. Perhaps he should take Pierce and go on a test flight? He's pretty sure there's something they've got to talk about. Hmm? What of it? Oh, nothing. Just, you might want to pack something good. I see. Him turning, going to begin walking away, but trying to lean more forwards. Him going to flap his wings out again and go to stop at the doorway. Deku watching him try and fold his wings behind him as he does a somewhat laugh, staring at that before he does a turn back to the courtyard, trying to think about what to seriously do. In the last 2 months, he's gone over much information. He's looked at many skills, looked at history, and has tried to do a lot more. Him going to make his way into his cave as he does go to walk past a barrier line that would alert him if anyone tried. And if he does to make his way into his lair, he does go to see Villain. Right now, her preparing a few things and getting things ready. Her walking by Deku as she does head into her room for something. Her making her way out and going to run up next to him, asking if he does need something. Perhaps not right now. Are you certain? Yes. Right now, I just need a minute. Her nodding her head and telling him about how she will put on tea. Him waving her away as he does give her a small smile. Making his way down and into his library. As he does go to sit down and try to go over it again in his own head. The type of strange entities they might encounter. They've killed the tyrant, and there's the 2 other Eldritch Titan. There might be creatures from the far realm. And then there's the whole thing about this man having other people fighting with him. The Demon Lord is a trickster. He's one half of a god, the mortal half. And they're trying to make sure to stop some sort of strange ritual. But it's got something to do with... No, the lights are key. But what exactly does that mean? The lights are key. The lights are key. Huh. Okay. But is that some sort of... No, it can't be a metaphor. It's gotta be something else. Perhaps? No. No, that's not a perhaps. It's gonna happen. Okay. Well now. Him going to glance around as he does try to think about it. Contact Bakugo or Ochako and see about training with them. Or try and jump into the Beastlands and see what he could do there. Just go on a rampage and potentially test out a new skill. Not much really does go on there. If he does send doubles to farm there, then that wouldn't work either. Some of the experience gained is too low. They would need an event. He can try and use the magic items he does have, but he's still wary of that. Okay. Reno Ochako popping up in front of Deku. Him turning and glancing at her. So, what exactly is it you want? Her going to hold up the skull connected to a proper cord. Right now, Nero's head dangling in a leather sack that does have the front removed. And he does this one face out towards Izuku, talking about it. They went on an adventure. I see that. So why are you bringing him back to me? I took him on an adventure a few times. Besides, shouldn't he go with Bakugo for a little bit? He was with Bakugo. Right now, though, I'm not sure what else to show him. He's seen a lot, and I don't know. Her setting him down on the table as Deku does stare at Nero, trying to think about what else to really do. I mean, he's been alive the last 2 months and they've fulfilled his request. I mean, asking him to die, that's a loaded question. Not one he's sure he wants to even try to attempt. What are you looking into? The lights are key. I have a theory, but I don't like it. And that's the problem. It's just a theory. Are you sure? Potentially. Though, I'm not really sure about much else. If we don't get this timed right, it'll be a problem. My doubles are already in hell to get things kicked off. Bakugo is just the one delaying us. And that's just the problem. We've got less than 2 months if my theory holds any water. And that theory is the Festival of Freedom. The Festival of Lights? The lights are... You think... Her leaning forwards. And Deku can see the gears click into place in her mind. That expression? Yeah, it tells him that he might be onto something. If Bakugo's agent is, well, not a double, but a triple, that can cause them problems. Though, that's another thing. The Demon Lord has forces that they know some of. Someone replaced Valin, and they don't know who that is. If it's one of the Lords of Hell, then they can strike a blow by taking them out by surprise. Or they can try and stoke this fire and stoke more fear. Take them out before the festival and throw off the Demon Lord's plans. It might be a risk, but it might be one he's willing to take. Let hell fall into chaos. If whatever perverse ritual he's using Galore's body for gives him back his own divinity. Once that happens, he wouldn't just be a god. There's no telling how much more powerful he'd be. With Kirishima's abilities on top of that, he might ascend. He's barely got a fraction of his power from what they say. But if their mortal incarnation is as strong as they are, then the divine incarnation, the other half, the one that might have his divine spark, it could be unfathomable to them. And this part does have him worried. Right now, that is the main concern. Well, Valin going to walk over and go to set down some tea and go to set down some salted meats in front of Izuku, turning to Ochako and asking if she would like anything. And she does get a turn to the elven woman in a simple dress. Her expressing to her, she's fine. She was not going to be staying for very long. Are you quite certain? I do know I do still have some of those meat pies I prepared for the little ones. The little ones? Valin's talking about my children. Your kids? I thought they haven't hatched yet. It's not a secret I'm willing to let out just yet, Ochako. The people of Granala mainly know the people in the castle. They're well aware that the kids are mine. Seriously? Wait, I thought babies couldn't eat meat or stuff like that. Doesn't that take years to even be possible? In most circumstances, yes, but these children are quite special. Her going to bring a hand up as she does get a turn, asking Izuku if she may have a seat to talk about this. And Deku, he does go to nod. Right now, her going to sit down into his lap as he does a somewhat pause, turning and giving Ochako a dirty look before she can say anything. And she does continue. Most of the time, halflings are born with the innate ability to have draconic teeth. With this instance, these children are a third dragon, thanks to his unique being a slayer. He has taken on many aspects of their lineage, and this has been manifest to his blood. Really? Yes, I have heard of quite rare instances, but seeing it in person, it's quite interesting. After so long of seeing things from afar, observing it in person is quite unique. These children are going to be powerful of their kind. They are. Villain? Yes. Please stand. Her turning. Her nodding and going to stand up as Deku does going to tell her. Right now she is dismissed. And please be aware, she doesn't have to sit on his lap. Her bowing her head and going to raise it. Giving Deku a smile, little Chaco does go to notice. And she does go to roll her eyes, looking back at Deku. And he does go to raise his hands, talking about it. He didn't do anything. That's kind of weird. I know. Indra's not. She doesn't really seem to care. Deku hearing a sound, turning, as right now one of the children do come flying over. Them making their way over Valen's head as she does at a duck trying to cover her horns. And Deku does raise up his hands with telekinesis, stopping the kid and pulling them towards him. As he does raise his hands out and go to grab a red-haired baby, its wings flapping profusely on its back. And Ochako does get to notice that, as Indra does come rushing in, turning to look around, seeing Deku and going to let out the breath she was holding. Right now, the baby going to look at Deku and go to try and blow up fire in his face. Deku going to blink as he has to look back up at his daughter, sitting her down onto his lap and going to talk about it. Well now, she can't be doing that. She has to listen to her mother. Him going to boop her on the nose. And she does it and gnash her teeth, trying to bite Deku's finger. Her getting a grip on it as he does get a turn back to Ochako, talking about it. As he was saying, there's still a lot of other things they've got to talk about. One very important thing is about the skill tree, specifically the store. He knows she's found interesting abilities like dual mind and dual body. I have, but I did some research myself. I found an advanced skill on my Fury ability. It's steep, but there's a lot that I can do. Okay, run me through it. Fury has the ability to double my strength at max. That's 10 levels. But there's also a class called Berserker. That skill allows me to level it up immensely so. The increase, from what I can tell, if it maxes it at 10, would be a bit more. It's about a what? A fourth of an increase past double? It's not much. But that's another problem. It's a rage-inducing ability. There's Bloodlust, which I'm not assuming would be good. If I have my sights honed on an opponent to kill, I kill them. My strength can increase temporarily, and it does strain my body a lot. Fury does that, but in a safer manner. Okay. And you're dodging something. Limitless. Villain gonna walk over. Her gonna bring up her hands and tell little Droa that she needs to let her papa have his little meeting with his ally. Right now, she is interrupting it. And Deku's daughter does a turn, her gnashing her teeth out towards her, and I'm going to send out a blast of ice directly into the dragon's chest. Her going to look down and going to look back at the dragon. Right now, Indra being surprised by that as well. And Deku does comment. That's odd. She used fire earlier. She did. Her taking the child as it does begin to start crying out, raising its hands out, kicking for its dad. And then Deku does go tell her, Dro is fine. It's alright. Right now, though, he's more worried about the boys. Knowing them, they're getting into trouble. And she does a turn looking back at Villain, her growling out before she does to flap her wings. Her letting go and going to flap back over to her dad and go to crash on his chest. Deku raising a hand up as the baby does go shout out the word Papa. Deku going to nod as their Israelin does a smile and turn, expressing she will go check on them. Indra turning to her and going to express those two can get into trouble. If they've left a cave, then they're causing some mischief or trying to steal something. Perhaps they are making their own little hoard. Both of them somewhat laughing out at these ideas. But with the way they do to rush out of the room does tell Deku they are not messing around with that. Him turning and asking Little Wrath exactly if the boys are okay. And the dragon does go look around. Right now, watching the two get up to some chaos in the treasure vault. Now, he does get a report back. Deku turning back to Ochako and talking about it. Right. Limitless. Her still staring at his daughter. Ochako. Sorry. What about it? It's powerful. It's an evolutionary advancement of Fury. But unlike the other skills I just listed, they don't just do what I'm talking about. It does it the best. What do you mean? This ability is entirely dependent on the power skill. Okay, but what does it do? It's the only enhancer that doesn't increase your durability. What does it enhance then? Everything else. Try and find it in your list and tell me what it says. Her looking down. And when she does get to raise her eyes back onto Deku, the look of shock on her face, he does get to talk about it. Yup. 500 points after Fury. The most expensive skill he's seen so far. Damn. Yeah. But her going to read over the ability of Limitless once again. Limitless is a power that will increase all physical attributes to the very limit of the body's capabilities. With every 10 set into the power stat, the physical abilities of the user will be increased 10 times. Her going to look at that number again. Right now, Ochako is well aware as to what her strength can go up to, how strong she is physically. But she can also use magic in a way to enhance herself, even with her chaos magic. Her power stat right now is over 100. So this ability can make her 100 times stronger. That on her mind. Her looking directly at Deku and asking what his stats set at. Mine? 110. But I've still got over 1,000 points to spend. And you want to put them all into that? Izuku, the skill comes with a fucking warning label. Did you not read it? I did. It's supposed to be dangerous. You're gonna die. I won't. We're all immortal. It'll just hurt like a bitch, but pain I can handle. How? It tells me I'm still alive. I went so long without feeling it. It's a reminder. Not something I crave, but I just can't recognize it as harmful. So you're willing to literally tear everything apart in your body, rupture organs, rupture your brain, melt your eyes, using it? If I can heal myself faster than I can break apart, I'll be fine. Besides, immortality. If we're going away with the plan we're using, I'll be the one at the biggest advantage. With everything in the abyss, galore, his body there, out of all of us, my divine boon will be the most advantageous. Really. I'm empowered by death, Ochako. Hell. You're empowered by trickery. You're going to be there too. You haven't done much with your power, have you? I've learned about my power. Her turning. Before she does go to express, Bakugo will be empowered as well. It's gonna be a war. They're expecting a lot to happen in hell to give him a boost. I know. Bakugo popping up at that time. Him going to step forwards and go to open his mouth. He just got... Is this a bad time? Him asking. However, Deku does see that the front of his hair does have multiple streaks of red in them. One of those streaks dangling down forwards in front of his face. Him sweeping it back, talking about it. He feels like he just walked in on something personal. You're fine. We're going over the plan. There's a skill you might need to buy. No, he's not. What is it? It's called Limitless, and it is a suicide tactic. Is it? 500 points. Is it good? It might be. Do you want to be 110 times stronger? Okay, you have my attention. Can you combine it with your other skills? Maybe. I'm not so sure yet. But that's another thing. My other skills increase my power stat to deal with my body. Wait, so you're not just talking about getting 100 times stronger, then are you? I don't know. If the ability does stack, then there's a good chance I'm basically unstoppable. The embodiment of the name. Possibly. There's a few other skills I do want to go over, and I know I'm talking to some other creatures at the moment about other things. Creatures? I've been diving more into my spirit skill. But that's another thing. I've learned I can commune with spirits. Not just that, I can sense souls. And are you okay, Bakugo? I'm fine. Are you sure? Something about your aura is off. Is it? Yeah, it is. It might be your empowerment. Yeah, I've noticed that. My abilities keep growing. If I'm on a battlefield, then I'm not sure. I've already gotten it to level 2. Your skill levels? I've been busy. What have you been doing? Playing house? Deku giving Baku a deadpan glare. And he does express. Sorry, he's just nervous. Their kids are supposed to hatch soon. Let me know if you need any advice. Will do. It's just, I know Elza's freaking out about a few things and it's not helping. What isn't? It's personal. I don't want to get into it. Fine. You two have been busy. What about you? I'm not even going to talk about this right now. You said your guy is ready for us to move. He is. He mentioned before that what's happening is going to be happening soon. The Festival of Lights are key to this then. If what I'm saying is true. Did he say we have to get it done within 2 months? He did. Shit. The lights are key. Yeah, we've come to that conclusion already. Fuck. That is not good. No shit, Sherlock. Anyways. I'm gonna go say goodbye. I suggest you two do the same. You say goodbye to Elza and Ochako, you say goodbye to whoever you love. Her gonna roll her eyes, telling Deku to at least give the maid a proper goodbye then, before she has to vanish. And he does get a turn to Bakugo, who does talk about it. So, he finally shut up. Him gonna glare at Bakugo. And he does it to raise his hands. He was just asking. Though, he was... You know what? This joke's a little old. Yeah, I'll go say goodbye. Bakugo keeping his eyes down as he does go to leave. And Deku does note that. Something's off about Bakugo. Did he scare himself with one of his powers, or... No. He's nervous about being a dad. He does understand that. I mean, with how his mind is now, he does feel that tingle in his brain. That little bit of fear, too. And then there's that one weird emotion. People are complicated. This passing through his mind. However, he does go to put down his daughter, he does go to leave after saying goodbye. Indra quite happy that things are finally moving along. And whenever the three do arrive in hell, they do begin to go over the plan themselves. All of them making doubles as they start talking about it. Deku standing there with about a dozen other versions of himself, all of them clad in the dark black armor of adamantine. And right now, Deku, he does get to hold up his shield, his large red cloak billowing up behind him and strapped to the front, hanging over his shoulders of his armor. Each one of his doubles going to stand there without the cloak. And Bakugo, he does go to stand there as well. Him in a lighter mithril shade of armor. Right now, he does go to be in a shrouded black cloak that does have a hood. Right now, him going to have it bellow behind him as he does express to his own doubles. Ochako staying there as well in some strange blue mage robes that do go to sit there with armor pieces woven onto it. And right now, all of them do go to express their copies about the game plan. Each one of them is going to go to a different layer of hell. Whichever versions of them are not present are going to be doing a few other things on different layers, causing more problems and causing more chaos. They have to deal with the lords of hell and then their underlings, then parts of their councils that may try to take over and or get in the way. What they're looking at is quite simply to take out some of the stronger demons. If they can get in charge, if they just kill a Lord of Hell, that's going to be a problem. The Demon Lord won't have much sway if he can just talk someone into submission for a power or just a title. Rip and tear. That is what they've got to do. And right now, 3 different versions of each do go to vanish. Deku going to turn and raise up a staff. Right now, him going to smash one of it to the ground as an energy blade, a scythe, does shoot out of one end. And the colorful energy, it does turn into a dark green color. Deku going to emanate his blue spirit aura as he does get a turn, looking at the other two and telling them about what exactly they're going to be doing. And all of them, they do go to nod, vanishing as the attack does begin. However, right now something else is going on back over in Granala. The copy of Deku that currently is at Wishomo has picked an adventure. And right now, he's still quite happy that his mentor is trusting him to do this, though he does feel conflicted about the events that happened with his dad. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.